Spectres, welcome to the final Mass Effect Lorecast episode of 2025. And joining me as always is my wonderful co-host, Jennasis. Jennasis, how has your year been?
How has my year been? Honestly, I have had worse years in the past. And so 2025 had some really big ups for me. So I'll take it. It's been a good year.
I think I can get behind that. Yeah. It's been it's been the year that my son was born. So in that respect, it's been the best year of my life. It's also been one of the hardest years of my life, not because of my son, but because of work. But yeah, we don't need to get into that because joining us today are our patrons. And this is the final patron chat of the year. So we've decided that we're going to talk about what if scenarios and what our favorite what if scenarios might be for changing, tweaking something here or there, anything about the series. So we'll just go around the horn real quick in the order that I see it, and our patrons can say hello. First up, Big Bills, how's your year been?
Wild. It's probably pretty accurate. Was calm, and then since September has been insane, and it's going to continue for a few more months. It's great.
Yep, I feel that. There's a part of me that cannot wait until the holidays are over because of the chaos of that. Retrobot, how has your year been?
It's been good. I was in Texas, and now I'm not in Texas. And
that's something
busy,
positive.
Yeah.
And joining us on the patron chat for the first time is Day Zero. Day, how are you doing, and how has your year been?
It's been somehow the best year, and probably, in some senses, the worst past year I think I've ever experienced so far. But I can't complain too much.
We got a Charles Dickens in here. No, I'm kidding. Mm-hmm. Nice little Christmas Carol.
I was just thinking that
reference. Yeah, Tale of Two Cities. All right. And Magister, how are you doing? How has your year been?
Bonjour, everyone. I'm all right. Year has been pretty mild for the most part. Got back into theater again, so that's a pleasant thing. But besides that, can't complain.
That's awesome. Involved in any productions over the past holiday season?
Speaking of Dickens, I got a little Christmas Carol action last month. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Were you playing a role on stage or helping off stage?
I was one of the people that robbed Scrooge toward the end when he's like, "Whose body is this? Who's in my bed?" So,
amazing.
Had fun with that.
Incredible. And Superfly 440, how are you doing, and how has your year been?
I'm doing okay. Kind of had an up and down year, both literally and figuratively. But yeah, it's been one of those days for me as well. So just looking forward to be home soon.
Yeah, I think we all can get behind that. But let's dive into today's topic about what we would change, if anything, about the lore. So this can be like, you want to add something, you can take something out. It's anything that you can imagine about the lore and changing it. What if blank were different? Now I'm going to go clockwise in the order from my camera setup. And so Big Bills, we'll start with you if you're ready to give your what if about Mass Effect's lore.
I'm not ready because mine currently is a little violent. So let's skip me for now and come back to me.
He's not ready to order yet. He'll take a look at the menu and we'll come back in about 5 minutes.
Yep.
All right. I'll just open it up. Is anyone dying to give us their what if? And you can just go ahead and jump in right away.
I can give you mine.
All right, Magister, what are you thinking about the Mass Effect lore?
What if the Council had accepted the Geth when they rebelled against the Quarians?
Ooh, like gave them full diplomatic privileges?
Yes. either by the Geth reaching out to the council in plight, or by an opportune council member seeing the situation and taking steps to make a power play.
Oh, okay. So in this scenario, would the Geth be given an embassy on the Citadel right away?
Yes.
All
Well,
right.
I'm going to say right away, but it would move in that direction.
Okay. So, but by the time we started Mass Effect 1, they would already have an embassy.
They would have been there.
Right. Wow. So significant political power for the Geth instead of like space orc pariah status. All right. That's a really interesting concept. I had never even considered this. I want to open this up for discussion. Genesis, first, I want to go over to you. What are you thinking in terms of, Geth with political power?
I think it'd be very interesting for sure because there's such a tension. We believe that right in the beginning of the first game that the Geth are the enemy. They're the whole cause of this. Who knows if that really is a Geth dreadnought in the sky? And if we had a political liaison that we could go to and ask these questions, why are these Geth outside of the Veil? What were they doing on this planet? And then we could learn about heretic Geth earlier. We could learn about the Reapers earlier and have not only the humans stating that there are the Reapers invading, but having another council race, such as the Geth, backing that statement means that we could have started the Crucible project a lot earlier.
Maybe in a best case scenario, I think.
Mhm.
Because in a worst case one, the Reapers would see a Geth ambassador as a particularly vulnerable unit to commandeer or corrupt, right? A particularly useful heretic to make and lie.
Yeah, like what if that Geth was already like part of the heretic group? So like you're having a Geth there, it could be a heretic, or it could be the other group. If it's a heretic group, Mass Effect doesn't even happen as a game because then it's just wiped out immediately.
That's true. Because if we're assuming that the heretics are still aiding Saren in Mass Effect 1 or even before Mass Effect 1, then they don't really need to go through a lot of hoops to rectify the problems with the Keepers that would keep Sovereign and the Reapers out. Right? Or maybe, like Genesis suggested, incorporating the Geth much earlier into galactic space would have provided some kind of inoculation to the problems that we see developing with Geth attacking colonies, attacking anyone who tries to enter the Perseus Veil. What do you guys think?
So a little bit off, not really answering your question, but kind of springboarding off of that. Where does that put the Quarians in all of this? If the Geth are part of the Galactic Society, are the Quarians still the vagabonds or the outcasts that they were treated in because they created Geth, but the Geth are now part of the society? Are they going to be included in everything as well?
That's a good question. Because if I was a Quarian, I'd be pretty pissed, right? Not only did 99% of my species get annihilated, but now the machines responsible are given more political power than us. Yeah, wow. That's a good question. I would posit that maybe we would see some kind of fringe groups gain more political power in Quarian, in the fleet, because they would already be more ostracized and at the hands of their creations that killed them, basically. So I would suggest that maybe we would see some extremist groups rise in popularity among the Quarians.
Or the Quarians get co-opted by the Sovereign instead.
True. The Reapers could exploit that anger.
So are you suggesting that the Quarians are replacing the Geth in Mass Effect 1 that aided Saren? Is that what you're kind of getting at, Magister?
Potentially, that could be a trickle down effect of the because I can imagine them going straight to guerrilla fighters in their anger. They don't have a home planet. They're out there traveling. Who knows? They might find an abandoned Reaper body, and then things go how they go. And they are techies, so
yeah. Retrobot or Day, what do you guys think about, this whole idea that the Geth gain some kind of political legitimacy instead of the Quarians later in the series, or really ever?
I think I'm going to go full conspiracy theorist on this. It's definitely an inside job.
Oh,
The Reapers
okay.
have a direct line of communication into the Citadel now.
You're right.
All Geth are one.
That would be pretty convenient for the Reapers. I mean, talk about getting all of the intel they could possibly want. So when you say inside job, do you mean that whoever it was that was on the council that pushed for Geth political legitimacy is probably also indoctrinated?
They don't have to be. I could see a reality where they were like actually good faith about this, about putting Geth on in an embassy just to have them close by. But there's also a possibility of, they were also in on it. I mean, this is Reaper tech lying out there in the open.
Yeah, no kidding. And the Citadel being centralized repository of galactic knowledge and pretty much the status of all sentient races, that would be extremely valuable for the Reapers. Retrobot, what do you think?
I think it'd be interesting if you had a mission like early on in Mass Effect 1 where you decide if you want to try to broker peace with the Geth to get them in line with the Alliance. And then like Saren's hinting this entire time that he's got like someone on the inside. So you're always like looking at the other ambassadors, but then it turns out you get to like one of his final confrontations. He's like, the Geth have been on my side this entire time. So by you brokering peace, which seems like it'd be the good decision in the game, you in fact end up getting the like council killed because you let all these people just all the Geth in.
Holy crap. Talk about subverting expectations. That would, I think that would piss off a lot of people, because they think that they're doing the Paragon thing. They think that they're negotiating peace. And then the narrative just says, well, you're wrong and fuck you. I
Peace
think
was not the correct option in this path.
well, in that path, peace was never really an option.
True.
So, but let's toss it back over to Magister. Magister, in this what if scenario, how do you envision this changing the events of Mass Effect 2 and 3?
I think if it was a more of a good faith situation where the guests themselves weren't necessarily co-opted by the Reapers, or like for example how they have their own hubs, and like on Mass Effect 3 where you go into the hub and everything like that, there could be chances where they have a hub in Citadel space that has not been touched by any Reaper indoctrination or anything else. And so having a actual AI and there's probably also different AIs that are running around, because the only reason why the council outlawed AI was because of the fact that what happened was the Quarians and the Geth. So there could be other alternate versions of Geth or different races and species of AI running around. And with them being able to use their high computing power, someone else might have noticed the Reaper invasion coming before it even got there. I mean, at the end of the day, AI can help significantly speed up time when it comes to tech and other factors as well. So while Shepard is running around being like, hey, there's something going on here, there might have been a guest ambassador or a counselor who's on the council be like, I'm noticing a pattern here, correlating it with the data that we have from our architects. There's something going on here. It could end up blowing up the whole situation before it even gets to Mass Effect 3. And then there's more base building and working on countermeasures before we even get to that point.
That's really fascinating. In terms of Mass Effect 3 specifically, in the Rannoch arc that takes up a large part of the game, how do you imagine the whole struggle for regaining the Quarian homeworld would go? You know, would the Geth be more or less likely to invite them back to Rannoch?
I feel like it depends on how the Quarian has been behaving in this whole time frame. If there has been peace talks and reaching out to them, because at the end of the day, the Geths didn't really want to go to war with the Quarians. They kind of pushed their hand. So dealing with other organic species and seeing how things go, I could see them try to reach back out to their creators and ask, hey, are y'all willing to work with us? And it would depend on how gung-ho and gun-shy the Quarians would be. And it took a lot of work and effort to make them be willing to work with the Geth. So they might just go down with the ship, to be truthful.
Yeah, maybe so. Well, what a fascinating topic. Thanks for bringing this up, Magister. I want to jump over to whoever is ready to share their what-if scenario next. I want to make sure we can dive into each of these in pretty good depth. Any show of hands who'd like to... okay, Retrobot, what's your what-if scenario for Mass Effect lore?
Okay, my what-if is, what if Joker never had Rolex syndrome? Like,
Okay.
would he even be on the Normandy?
We'd see him walking around the Normandy.
Definitely. But, like, would he have been able to save the crew from the Collectors in, like, Mass Effect 2?
I see what you're saying. Yeah. Would he have achieved the same things as a pilot without that handicap motivating him?
Yeah.
Because it's like a physical handicap can either hinder you or push you to strive to prove yourself. And that's the way that Joker has handled it in this situation, where he does have a disability that makes it so that way his body is not as physically capable as another standard soldier in the Alliance. And he used that to harden and specify his talents and abilities to one special thing. I believe that, if Joker wanted to be a pilot, regardless of the situation, he still would have become a damn good pilot. But he probably wouldn't have gotten the moniker of Joker because his disability made it so that way he was so focused to prove himself, and without having that, without having so many people looking down upon him thinking that he'll never be able to achieve this thing, he wouldn't have had that same level of drive. It's the same thing that Ashley goes through, where she feels that there's so much pressure of like, oh, your grandfather did this, he did this major fuck up back in the day, and now she has to prove herself by being the best of the best soldier that she possibly can be. The same thing goes through Joker. And so I think that he'd still be a damn good pilot, but maybe on the same level as Steve Cortez, but not the Joker that we know.
Yeah, he would just be Jeff.
Yep. Mr.
I don't think
Moreau.
he wouldn't find as much humor, because I think he used humor as coping. And I guess this is a spoiler. I guess to quote Fallout Season 2, Episode 2, he wouldn't have fucked a robot.
Oh, man. All right. Well, I wish I could have not heard that. but for those of you listening ahead of time, he did give a spoiler warning. So, yeah, he wouldn't be the same Joker that we know. Would he be the Normandy's pilot? I feel like maybe not. How else would that have changed his career, and by extension, not having Joker as the Normandy's pilot? How would it have changed the events of the original trilogy? Retrobot brought up, like, would he have been there to save the crew in Mass Effect 2 and save the ship. I don't know if he would have been there. If he had been there, he certainly could have evaded the Collector Force a little easier. But what do you guys think? You know, if Joker wasn't there, if Joker wasn't the pilot on the Normandy in Mass Effect 2, what would have happened?
That's such
Shepard
a
might have
wild
lived.
question.
I think also in Mass Effect 1, Shepard might have lived. That's true. Because one of the reasons Shepard died was because Joker was being stubborn and refused to leave, wanted to go down with the ship.
Tom Cruise would have been your pilot.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. And you know, I think we can probably back up to even Mass Effect 1. There were so many maneuvers that Joker pulled that no other pilot could do, and it was alluded to in the series, like the tight window that they had to drop the Mako out in low orbit, or not even low orbit, like low atmosphere. They had to swing by underneath the radar, drop the Mako in on Ilos, and then take off. And that was like just one of a few maneuvers that that Joker had to pull to make sure that they could get the mission done. And then that kind of thing happens repeatedly in Mass Effect 3. So maybe the Normandy would have just blown up or Shepard would not have been able to accomplish the objectives that they needed to accomplish multiple times throughout the series if Joker had not been the pilot. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that the Alliance would have just found another capable pilot, or is Joker truly irreplaceable?
Joker is irreplaceable. I mean, in my opinion. Dave, what were you going to say?
I think he is irreplaceable, but I do think they would have found an adequate pilot, and it would not have gone as great. Especially some of those maneuvers he pulls in the accretion disk during the suicide run.
That's
or
true.
They would have worked and gotten the. What was the mission on Mass Effect 2 where they attached the guy to the machine?
Oh,
They just
Overlord?
Yeah, Overlord. They just would overlord the ship.
And yeah, so the SR2 maybe would EDI have ever been unshackled? I don't think so. So, wow, that could have had huge ramifications for Mass Effect 3 as well. All right, wow, that's any other thoughts before we move on?
I think the Normandy probably would have blew up all the way back at Liara's rescuing Liara, because that maneuver, getting her off of that, getting all of them off the exploding planet, basically. That an average pilot probably would have choked on that moment.
Dr. Chakwas probably wouldn't still be our doctor because she stuck around because Joker needed help with his Rolex syndrome.
Well, that's what she says.
Yeah,
I think she just really cares for
It's a key part of it.
It is. But yeah, all right. Well, that's another fascinating what if, where on the surface, people might think that has somewhat trivial consequences, but it could change everything about the original trilogy. So thank you, Retrobot, for that fantastic idea. All right. Who's next? Who would like to give us their what if scenario for the lore of Mass Effect? We've still got Superfly, Day, and Big Bills.
I can go.
All right, Day, what are you thinking?
What if Liara had lost the body of Shepard to the Collectors?
Oh, shit, I misplaced it. Where did that body go? No, that would be huge.
Right?
Oh, my gosh. So do you think the Collectors would have made like Shepard into like an anti-Shepard, where all of a sudden there is a new huge antagonist and it was your protagonist from the first game?
That would be a pretty sick boss fight, I think, at least. But I think a whole lot of people would be probably mad.
I feel like you would, in that kind of boss fight, you would need to have it almost like an anime trope, where the boss is so much more powerful than the protagonist. You know what I mean? And they're like
power scaling now.
Exactly. They're like, he's like, oh my
Dylan
wo
Shepard is
shinderu.
A1. You're in BT.
Yeah, he's like,
way up.
you'll never defeat me. Give it up. And like, there's like 2 or 3 encounters with evil Shepard, evil collector Shepard, before you finally beat him.
He's got the collector armor, but it's like super badass and evil.
Right. He looks like a
squishy.
looks like a badass turd this time.
Well, I guess to go with that, what if I guess you could split it and have you were playing Shepard, you were playing a reanimated Shepard, and then it was another reanimated anti-Shepard that you didn't know, kind of like Doom Ancient Gods, where you're fighting you at the end.
If Clone
Like Cerberus will be
Shepherd
using the
was
clones. Yep.
Yeah.
Like Citadel DLC. Yeah.
Yeah. But one's the actual big protagonist or antagonist of the entire game. And you don't realize it until like the very, very end, and you have to cut their head off, essentially.
How would I mean, they could write it in for sure, but how would, if Liara lost the body before giving it back to Cerberus, how would Cerberus have made the clone to begin with?
A foot? I don't know. Like, Space Magic, come on. Like,
The random skin cell.
Yeah,
she had a phantom foot, and they just used genetic memory. I don't know.
she had a lock of Shepard's hair from Mass Effect 1. Don't ask why.
I mean,
I'm
if the
pretty sure
alliance
there was some
melts her-
DNA on that ship.
Oh
Wait,
no.
so had the hair, and then when they mind melded, she could have like saved those memories and pushed it over. There you go.
Okay, there's something somewhat plausible. If Liara had lost Shepard's body to the collectors in any way, I feel like she would have just like an uncurable level of guilt that she would never get over after that. And I don't think that she would ever become the Shadow Broker.
Okay. I could see that. I could also see the entirety of Mass Effect 2 changing to then be a Liara game where a lot of the same things still happen. She's still trying to find Shepard's body, is assembling a team of her former Normandy squad mates, getting them all together and adding a few people that she has gained contact through Ilos and through the Shadow Broker, because she was still in the search for Shepard's body, still trying to find them, and so would have gotten in contact with Cerberus, would have possibly gone the same route, trying to get Shepard's body back. Or the elusive man could have made a deal with the collectors to get Shepard's body back. Because if both the collectors and the elusive man are working for the Reapers, then he could have made a case to say why Shepard's body was better with him rather than with the collectors.
That's fascinating. Yeah. Yeah, because they have the same boss ultimately, but the elusive man doesn't know it. Not really. So, all right. So that former one with Liara being the main protagonist then of Mass Effect 2, where the game then kind of focuses on getting Shepard's body back, feels a little bit like Cortana and Master Chief a little bit, doesn't it? Like,
yeah.
Maybe they tried to stay away from kind of a lot of those Halo tropes, because around that time, 2007 to 2012, primetime Halo days, right? So
Very much so. It's why I didn't play Mass Effect when it first came out. I thought it was another Halo game.
Okay, so let's kind of run with that. If Liara had lost Shepard's body, I think that is probably the most plausible scenario, that Liara then becomes the protagonist of Mass Effect 2. And then do we still get branching possibilities at the end of Mass Effect 2? Like, is there a possibility you fail and Shepard's body just doesn't come back? Or like, how does Mass Effect 3 happen then? Or is the galaxy doomed? Anyone can chime in here, by the way.
Well, I mean, I was thinking, what if instead of Liara being the protagonist, it's the Vermeer survivor? If Shepard's gone, and then the Vermeer survivor becomes a Spectre in 2, you play as a Spectre in 2, you can recruit, like maybe one of the missions is recruit Liara to find Shepard's body, as well as fight the collectors. So I mean, that's where my mind was going with this. What if it's a Vermeer survivor?
Yeah, that could be really cool. Kind of trying to save their mentor in a way, like Ashley or Caden. That'd be really cool. Also possible that, I guess, if you failed, Shepard could ultimately be reattained by Cerberus and then become Kai Lang. Like, be Kai Lang's stand-in for the elusive man's top henchman. Which, that would be pretty tough to face Shepard, right? When you're just trying to complete their original mission.
Oh, man, that would be very rough. I don't know. That would be a very hard fight emotionally to have to fight my own player character.
Do we
I've
still
seen
get
so much. Go ahead, Big Bill.
I was just like, do we still get to stab him and say, "This is for thing, you son of a bitch"?
Oh, yeah, but it's like a little sad.
Yeah,
It's
but
like-
there's tears in your eyes.
Yeah, it's that
One singular tear.
exactly. It's that gif of, I think who is it? Who's holding up the pistol and he's crying, right? It's like
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes. Okay, yeah. He's holding up the revolver and he's crying. He's don't make me shoot. Yeah, that it would kind of feel like that. Magister, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was about to say, like, I've seen so many fan art of like Liara like holding up a gun, crying and being like, "Don't make me do this," and then it cuts to Shepard like indoctrination eyes. Like, could you imagine like whether it be Liara or Vermeer's person or whatever else, you get to the end of Mass Effect 2, and then it's like almost like a Dark Soul-esque red line comes up on the top, and you see the Shepherd, and it's just Harbinger preaching at you for the whole boss fight.
Oh man. Okay, so as someone who really enjoyed Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and then Survivor, only to get to the end of Survivor, spoiler alert, and then you have that final fight where you're Cal and you can resist embracing the dark side, but you die and that's game over. And so it forces you to embrace the dark side. Having that experience, I can tell you that I was not happy. I was very unfulfilled like that. So if I played through Mass Effect 1, possibly Mass Effect 2, even without it, and my player character was like railroaded through the narrative to be forcibly indoctrinated right at the end of Mass Effect 3, I would have been so pissed. Like, people had such ownership over their own Shepard. You know what I mean?
Here we go. It's tragic, and this is, I think, would have been great and horrible at the same time. You had a romance of the Vermeer survivor. You play as the Vermeer survivor in ME2, trying to find Shepard's body. You don't find Shepard's body, so Shepard becomes the Kyling stand-in. You have to kill Shepard, even though that's your romance partner. After you stab Shepard, Shepard then reverts to, "Oh crap, what have I done?" But then has a bomb inside of him, and the Vermeer survivor dies
Okay.
with Shepard, and everybody else runs. And it's death, and then Liara becomes the protagonist, and you have to defeat the Reapers with Liara minus Shepard and the Vermeer survivor.
Congrats.
Horrible.
I didn't think that we could get worse, but we got worse. So thanks. that would be worse. Superfly 440, I see that you got something to say.
I was going to say Big Ball strikes again. No, I kind of like that idea of Shepard's body's not recovered. You play as a Vermeer survivor, and in the third one, he ends up coming back as the Cerberus baddie that you have to fight and kill towards the end of the game. I think that kind of darkly poetic, if you will.
Never meet your heroes, right?
Right.
So, yeah. All right. Awesome idea, Day. That would really change the entire narrative arc of the trilogy. But with that, I think we got to hop over to the mid-break, and when we come back, I'd love to hear Big Bill's and Superfly's ideas for how we could change the lore of the Mass Effect series. But here we go. We'll be right back.
We have beef, we have bacon, we have beer. The foods of my people.
Young men have funny ideas of what Asari are like. I blame the extranet and computer games.
Rex? Shepard. Grunt? Shepard. Rex? Grunt?
All right, here we are in the middle of the show. This is the part where we read out your 5-star reviews if you've left them on Apple Podcasts. We also can read out your comments on the most recent episode of our Spotify series, or our series on Spotify, rather. And I see that there are 2 new comments on our most recent episode on Spotify. That's the Nakia Corridor one, Genesis. And there is a comment from someone named Definitely Not Retrobot. And I don't know if I trust this, but it says 20 out of 10 best lorecast out there. The patron chats are definitely a must-see, especially this guy, Red T Robot, or whatever his name is. He has some hot takes that hit just right, and his thesis, Corian Toes and Batarian Butts, is a must-read of the new year.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Obviously, Retrobot, you have a huge fan out there. Huge fan. You should look into this definitely not Retrobot guy.
Yeah, I would also be careful because sometimes people online can be a bit creepy. Anyway, there's also a brand new comment 4 hours ago from Oscar who says, "Oh, hey, that was my what if comment. Feeling cooler than ice right now. I would be so honored if you included it in another what if episode. P.S. Apologies in hindsight are in order for my name's spelling. It's just Oscar in English, though I have to say that was the funniest way of pronouncing it wrong I have ever heard." All right. Well, I am sorry, Oscar. Love you guys from Hungary. Well, we love you right back. And that's all the new comments that we have from Spotify for now. But as a reminder, if you want to get your comments read out on the show, you can comment on our most recent episode on Spotify or leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Now, we also have new patron since last week to shout out, and he's here with us now, Day. Thank you for signing up and becoming our newest Tier 5 patron, the Shepard tier, along with Butts, Retrobot, Superfly 440, Ed Boy, Kira C, Lieutenant Tocino, and Big Bills. So, I think that about covers it. Let's get back with the rest of the show.
After time adrift among open stars, along tides of light and through shoals of dust, I will return to where I began.
Solarian reproduction different, very little sex drive. If intended to try human, would try you. Ow, my pancreas.
Day, you said in the Twitch chat here, you were supposed to end the dark side, not join it. Bong. Yeah, that would. You're absolutely right. That harkens Anakin pretty heavily. And if you're talking, by the way, Day, we can't hear you because you are muted. Oh, there you go.
Shout out technical difficulties. Yeah, that's just like it's either super serious or like super cheesy. You can't do it like halfway. You have to either go so hard in the paint on this is a sad moment. You have to feel sad here, or isn't this ridiculous?
Knowing what we know from some of the cinematic designers, at least, who worked on the original trilogy, if they wanted to go that former route of making it a sad moment, sticking the knife in and twisting it, they would have found a way. Because man, they were so amazing at their jobs. I think they would have found a way to make that not cheesy. But you're right. I think the propensity for that to be really, really cheesy, if I have the high ground, Shepard, would be pretty bad. That said, we still got Big Bills and Superfly. I want to hear both of your what ifs, but one of you want to rock, paper, scissors to see who goes first, or is one of you more eager?
All right. I guess I'll go.
All right, he's ready to order. Will it be the soup or the salad, sir?
Be the blood. Oh, sorry. So one that I had to forego is Udina should be splayed, cut in half after Mass Effect 1 and the attack, just because I don't like him and he's a piece of shit. But we're going to ignore that one because that's too easy.
Right.
And
I think
gory.
we could probably rephrase that Udina gets impaled on a Geth dragon tooth.
Yeah, we'll go. I would say crucified be better, but hey, we'll go with the dragon tooth. No, that the elusive man, I think my what if, which could actually be real, but the elusive man funded the Andromeda Initiative and planted Cora Harper.
Okay, Bwong. That would be a huge twist. It's something that, you know, a lot of people have talked about online for years. Do you think then that would probably like provide some kind of incentive to loop in the Andromeda story arc into the next Mass Effect game?
It would. I mean, I think they've hinted that they're planning on it. But I would just say that it would make sense because the amount of money that was needed, they don't know where all the money came from. It just showed up and there's a Harper, but I just would have liked it to have shown up in the Andromeda, like the one game we got. I would have liked Cora Harper to turn. Like, you romance her, and then she's like, oh, by the way, ha ha ha, stab.
Haha, I know you're another human, but fuck you anyway. Yeah, you know what though? I would, even if Cora was a Cerberus agent, even like I know that there's some Cerberus characters in Andromeda, right? But is it necessarily like evil just that the elusive man funded the Andromeda Initiative? Because it ultimately was a pretty good backup plan in case the Reapers did annihilate everyone and everything.
Well, that's why the Corian arc's gone, and that's why he could have planned to have all the alien arcs be. You had to go find, you had to go find the arcs.
Okay, that's really fascinating. I want to open this one up to the rest of you. Anyone can jump in with their thoughts about what if Cerberus and the Elusive Man truly did fund the Andromeda Initiative, and the plan was to basically eliminate all of the alien arcs on their way or in the new system, leaving only humanity.
I think it's plausible. Like, everybody has tried to figure out who the mysterious benefactor is, other than the mysterious benefactor we've had on this show before. But it's really interesting to try and think about, why would the Elusive Man and how would he have had so much money to be funding both major projects at the same time? He has talked about how resources did get stretched thin while paying for the Lazarus project, and during the same time frame that the Andromeda Initiative was also sparking up and heading out. So I don't know if Cerberus has that much money, but also having Cora Harper there is something. Whether they wanted it to be a major plot point that, yes, that is, a niece, a secret daughter, for all we know, Timmy Boy's sister, his much younger sister. I mean, my youngest sister is 11 years younger than me. So age gaps are definitely a thing. So it's very interesting to think about how all of that could play out. And it's just, I think that Cora Harper being there means something, but I don't know if the Elusive Man is the benefactor.
If he was, I can totally see them writing in some kind of explanation that Alec Ryder has a deep history with the Elusive Man. And that is why Alec was chosen as the Pathfinder for humanity. But that's also why a lot of plans didn't come to fruition, because Alec died right away.
And also why Cora was second in command, why she was supposed to be the backup Pathfinder. Maybe Alec wasn't in on it and that Cora was supposed to immediately take over. But unfortunately, her plans got thwarted because Alec gave over the next Pathfinder ship to the kid.
I'd like to be proven wrong about some of my presumptions here. What do you guys think, the rest of you, in terms of what we've been talking about with the Elusive Man being the benefactor, Alec, Cora?
So I love where this discussion's going, because I think Andromeda gets way too much flack for what it is. But there's one big hole with this theory. Why on earth would the Elusive Man, a very pro-human, anti-alien person, want to fund alien arcs? Why would he do that in the first place? That just is a huge waste of funds and resources that he could have spent otherwise on, the humans. It doesn't make sense to me, at least.
I see what you're saying. It's like a long walk for a short drink of water.
You need their support. Like, if they found out that you were doing that, you'd have to assume that they would have espionage agents and spy agents in places. They would find out about it. You'd have to assume that they would be pissed if you were doing that and not including them. Like, you couldn't just do it without the council getting involved and everyone else getting involved if you kept it human only.
Would they, though, since it's a privately funded initiative? Like, there is no one nation or group of people that is funding it. It's a I said, the benefactor. It's an individual.
When have the Asarians made sense?
I think I can see what Big Bills is getting at here. Genesis, what are you thinking?
Well, okay, so I'm just going to take this stance here of being pro something doesn't mean that you're anti the other thing. I am pro peanut butter. It doesn't mean that I'm anti Nutella. Okay. So in the case of this, just because Cerberus is a pro humanity, humanity first situation, corporation, company, whatever you want to call it, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're always anti-alien species. So, and we see that the Elusive Man is willing to work with aliens because we have an entire Normandy SR2 crew full of aliens. And that's not just for Shepard's benefit. Oh, let me throw you a token Turian in here because you want to see him again. No, I think that the Elusive Man is willing to work with aliens if it means that it will better and further his human agenda. And, landing on that many planets, you need that many people, that many bodies. And however many alien species are willing to sign up for a potential death mission, okay, let's shuttle them out to the other side of the galaxy.
And to add on to that, yes, at the end of the day, the Elusive Man knows that those other alien races have resources and technology that can end up benefiting the Andromeda Initiative going forward. I mean, the Normandy itself is an innovation of what happens when you incorporate multiple technologies and put them together. Shepard's crew is a show of what can happen if you have multiple different races on the ship. Go do what you need to do. Now, I could easily see him doing the sabotage or have agents set up to sabotage stuff after they get there because humanity first. But I could definitely see him working with other races as a anonymous tip in order to get them over to there after wringing all he can use out of them and then leaving them in the dust at the end.
All right. Well, Genesis, it looked like you had some choice words.
Not necessarily choice words, but more of like, okay, the mysterious benefactor doesn't necessarily need to be one person. maybe the Elusive Man was the benefactor for the human arc. And there are other alien species who then supported and paid for their species arc. So it would still very much fit into his alignment of I'm going to make sure that my family member, Cora, is on the human arc and I'm going to pay for the best way that they can, but not necessarily pay and support for the other arcs.
Yeah. Okay. That's a fascinating idea too. That it's not just singular benefactor, but that the Elusive Man is involved. All right. Well, we're running out of time, so I do want to jump over to Superfly so we can talk about your what if scenario on Mass Effect lore.
All right. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to think about it, so I didn't really prepare anything that I feel is up to my standards. But the one what if that I could come up with that might generate at least some conversation would be, what if Liara doesn't have the plot armor that she does and can die in ME1 or ME2 for that matter?
Okay, so then we're talking about Mass Effect 2 or Mass Effect 3 without Liara. If she dies in Mass Effect 1, then clearly she can't become the Shadow Broker.
Oh, if she dies in Mass Effect 1, she can't recover Shepard's body. Which then creates a whole cascading effect of who's there to save his body, who's there to save the galaxy then.
I think Miranda might be a possible person that the Elusive Man tasks with that. The Elusive Man, I guess, could also task Kai Lang with that.
Ooh, and that would make it so interesting, having Kai Lang save our body and then meeting him again in 3 as an adversary when he was once a friend who saved us. That would be interesting and make him a more dynamic character.
Yeah. Frenemies. Frenemies with Kai Lang.
Shepard could become the Shadow Broker.
There's an idea. Shepard says F you to Cerberus and the Alliance and just goes to work as their own version of Mr. House. That'd be interesting. It's like, okay, well, and that scenario, I don't know if I actually want Shepard to have wielding the power of the Crucible in Mass Effect 3.
Well, would the Crucible even be discovered if it's not Liara as the Shadow Broker? Because she's the Prothean expert and all that. So
true.
Would Shepard have the expertise to be able to figure out what the Crucible is and how to disseminate that information?
I think the plans would have been found anyway, because if I remember right off the top of my head, Hackett is actually the one who refers Liara to Mars to try and decode some plans and data files that they had found. So I think that the plans would have been found anyway, but maybe not in the same amount of time, maybe not to the same extent that Liara was able to decode them, and also not as effectively as Liara could procure resources for the project afterward.
Right, because didn't Eva Corey also have that information?
Right. The robot Eva Corey, not the real Eva who died much before that, but yes.
Also, depending on how soon the plot armor is taken, if she dies when you rescue her, there's no one there to synthesize Shepard's memories. So we might not even have 2 and 3 because Harbinger, or Sovereign rather, gets to the Citadel.
Okay. All right.
Or Shepard can get there.
So let's think about what if Liara did survive Mass Effect 1, does all the things between Mass Effect 1 and 2 that are in Mass Effect Redemption, and then she dies during Mass Effect 2, perhaps trying to save Shepard or the crew of the Normandy from a collector hit. Then how does that change Mass Effect 3?
We lose the Shadow Broker resources. We lose potentially a lot of the backing force of getting everybody aligned and combined, because that's what she used her resources to do, was say, this group of scientists should be working on this. I know that these people would be good in this points. She played a lot of the logistics aspect of it, of who should be doing what for the project. So we would need somebody else who had that level of analytical mind that could put the right people in the right place to build this project.
Do you think Farron would have stepped in as Shadow Broker? Because I cannot imagine that Farron would actually want that responsibility.
As far as I remember, Farron was just a merc, right?
Right. Yeah. So I'm not sure that wet work was Farron's specialty, not sitting behind 18 screens. Interestingly, I actually thought about David Archer, who might be a very good Shadow Broker.
Yes.
Or
if
Miranda.
he survives.
True, if he survives. Or Miranda. Miranda would also be an effective Shadow Broker. Would she have then had to defect from Cerberus a little earlier?
I think so, yeah.
And then what would have been the catalyst to that?
Finding and killing her father.
Yeah, maybe she exacts revenge a little earlier. Maybe her father goes off the deep end a little earlier with Oriana. Yeah, wow, that's a really fascinating idea as well. All right, I want to open this up for general thoughts on the topic. Day, Retrobot, what are you guys thinking?
Yeah, so I had like a crazy thought. So like, if this goes down, the way I see it was we could have a potential where we have 3 different Shepards. So the collectors get Shepard's body. So Shepard ends up becoming the human Reaper in Mass Effect 2. And that's why they're building a human Reaper, because they're trying to recreate someone who was like the only threat to them. Legion, being the fanboy he is, they create a Geth AI version of Shepard who comes back. Then Cerberus having access to like DNA records, because if the Alliance military is anything like the current modern U.S. military, then his DNA is on file to basically identify his corpse. So then they'd clone Shepard. Then Kai Lang would be a clone of Shepard. So you'd have the clone, you'd have a Reaper Shepard, then you'd have the AI Shepard, all doing their own things.
Ooh, man, can you imagine? Like AI Shepard is uploaded into the Crucible and virtually kicks that Star Child's ass. You just see hologram projection of Shepard beating the living crap out of the Star Child. Which
thinking more like the what's that one meme of like Venom dunking on someone?
Yeah, I think that would be cathartic. Honestly, that we could bypass all of that. Here's your ultimatum at the end of the Mass Effect 3. But yeah, having 3 separate Shepards where none of them are really the Shepard that we came to know. Would we even feel as attached if after Mass Effect 1 the Shepard went into any of those roles?
I don't think so. I wouldn't be as attached. I would feel more attachment to whoever the protagonist in ME2 is. Having, especially if they were a romance option, somebody who fell in love with Shepard is now having to fight against 3 separate versions of them. Oh, that would just break my heart for the person I'm playing as. I wouldn't be as connected to Shepard anymore.
Yeah. All right. Any other final thoughts on this topic from anybody? Okay. Hearing no objection, Jennasis, I think that you had one what if that you wanted to talk about specifically with prior comments that you'd made on the Lorecast.
No. Okay, my secret shame, I guess. Yes, I can talk about it. And this is, it's my final comment for the year that I will say on it. Back when I first joined into this Lorecast as a patron, I did not know how to do proper research. I did not know how to look into actual lore websites and paying attention to which links I was clicking on. So my what if is, what if that fanfic I found was actually canon and tit size does equal biotic ability? So there we go. I am fessing up to it. This is my shame. The fact that I passed off on at least 4 different episodes of this lore cast throughout the years that the Asari chest size had some direct correlation to her biotic ability. That is not a fact. It is pure fan fiction, and I apologize if that has affected you in any way, shape, or form.
Well, let's run with that for a second, because if that were the case, then I think Jack would have a very sore back.
Well, it was according to Asari only, not human biotics.
All right.
So do they have to be natural or can they be silicone?
You know, I don't know.
I would probably say the former, but Samara would probably need to loosen her outfit a little bit.
So like a double H?
Who are the most powerful biotics that we meet in the series? I mean, there's Samara,
Benezia, Liara. Because Liara can reave, Samara can reave, and that's the qualifier, is to be able to reave is one of the most powerful biotic abilities that you can do. And so if you can achieve that, then you are considered one of the highest echelon. That is, as far as I know, canon lore. I question myself all the fucking time now.
So if we combine those two details, then by Mass Effect 3, after Kaidan recovers from the brutal attack, then we have Kaidan's big naturals.
You know what? Kaidan does get a little bit of a bigger chest size, but again, this was Asari based only, not human.
I don't know. I kind of like running with this with all species.
Okay, fine.
What if in biotic males it's their testicles that grow with biotic power?
There we go. They drag on the ground. All right.
How do you walk? Do we just clack in between every time you take a step?
Let them swing.
How's that for the end of the year? All right. Well, I was thinking in more serious terms than that, and we don't really need to expound upon it, but just something that people can mull on their own time is, what if Mass Effect had a Red Wedding moment like Game of Thrones had? Where you thought that you knew where the arc was going, and so many major characters died in one catastrophic scene that blindsided the hell out of you. Probably either toward the end of Mass Effect 1 or like a third of the way through Mass Effect 2.
So, like, what if you completely failed the suicide mission and everybody dies?
That's what I was going to say.
Well, every time I suggest mass murder, you guys just chastise me.
So I would say not really the same of what I was thinking with the suicide mission, because you kind of expect deaths. Like, everyone's talking it up the whole time. Suicide mission. You're expecting deaths. But with the Red Wedding, no one expected that, right? Like, that was just kind of out of nowhere. So what if there was some innocuous scene where they think they're safe on the Normandy, maybe they're playing cards in the break room, and then all of a sudden, dead, killed?
I mean, technically, the beginning of Mass Effect 2 was that. It was a complete surprise of... Cause I remember playing that game for the first time when it first came out, and I was just like, y'all just killed Shepard. Like, what was the point of that? And then you go to the moon and see all the people who have that memoriam of all the people who died.
Right. Yeah. We feel very bad for Presley and every one of those other names that no one else knows. So
yet we still collect all of their dog tags each and every time. Completionist.
Yeah. So basically, what if that collector attack had actually killed more squad mates, more crewmates that we knew? You know, what if it wasn't? What if Joker had died? What if Engineer Adams had died? What if Tally had died? What if, well, I guess Tally wouldn't have been there, would she? What if whoever the Vermeer survivor was and our love interest in the beginning of Mass Effect 2 had died?
All all the aliens die and Presley and Ashley live sounds great.
Oh my God. All right. Well, you can send your hate mail to bigbills@hotmail.com. I'm just kidding. I don't think he has a Hotmail. But that pretty much wraps it up for this week and this year of the Mass Effect Lorecast. We will be coming back in 2026, much to our haters' chagrin. But Genesis, you got any final thoughts before we wrap up the year?
This was my first year of being full-time co-host of the Mass Effect Lorecast, and I have had an absolutely amazing time. I'm going to continue on throughout 2026, and I can't wait to see where this show goes. We've had some really great discussions, finding out about lore that I had no idea even existed. Doing character deep dives and really getting to know the characters that we already know and love, but seeing even more layers that I didn't know was there. And all of the laughter that you and I have shared over this year, and then the laughter that we've had with our patrons every single month, because I don't think that a single episode has ever passed by where we don't laugh our asses off at least once. There's also been episodes that have pulled on our heartstrings and have really made me had to sit there with my own emotions for a minute, especially when we were talking about, Jillian and the books and everything like that. And I really cannot wait until we dive back into those things, the balancing the heavier topics that make Mass Effect rooted in our hearts because of the emotions that go with it, right alongside, maybe a deep dive into Blasto as a character, because the lightheartedness is also what makes people want to come back, and me included. So thank you guys so much for accepting me as the co-host for the Mass Effect Lorecast. Filling Tom's shoes has been a very big job. And I'm one of the fans. I really am. I'm a fan of the listeners. I'm a fan of the show. And thank you guys for the support that you've shown this year.
9 out of 10 listeners accepts you as their co-host. The last one is on my list. That's a Tupari reference. But yeah, right on, seconded to everything you said, Genesis. You've been a wonderful co-host, and I can't wait to take on more episodes in 2026 with you. Let's go around the horn here and just give our final thoughts for the year. We'll start with you, Big Bills. You got any final thoughts and how people can reach you if they want to talk?
It's been a fun year. So it's been good. All the driving that I've been doing, listening to the podcast. Usually just catch up in one drive at a time. 1 7-hour drive. I catch up on 4 or 5 episodes. It's great. But no, you can reach out to me on the Discord, Big Bills 63. I'm more of a lurker. I'm not on it all the time, but if you at least mention me, I'll see it for sure.
Cool beans. Day, what do you got going on? How can people get a hold of you? And any final thoughts on the topics?
Day on the Discord, Day Zero, just about everywhere else, mainly Blue Sky. Working on my own series of novels right now. It's been on the back burner because of stuff that's been happening this year, but I'm hopeful to get to that soon. And this is a pretty good first episode. I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. And we're so happy to have you here too. And I can't wait to check out some of those novels when you're done with them. Magister, any final thoughts for the year, and how can people get a hold of you?
Always a pleasure being with the Mass Effect Lorecast, with Patreon chats, and glad to be able to be on here with everyone, and you, Sam, and you, Genesis. It's awesome community and awesome place to be. As far as anything going on, I've been playing with a group when it comes to tabletops for 9+ years as a player, and I'm thinking of finally taking the dive into GMing, for particular with World of Darkness, Vampire the Masquerade. So if anyone has any particular tips for someone who's starting off in that kind of hobby or fashion, please do feel free to let me know. I am Master Davida in the Discord.
Awesome. Well, Genesis might have some tips for you. Genesis has a long background with D&D. So, all right, Retrobot, any final thoughts for the year, and how can people get a hold of you?
I'm Retrobot on the Discord. Occasionally I'll have a Tism flare up and put something weird up there. Either some weird biology facts, or just a whole analysis of the chain of command and rank system. So if anyone wants to talk about that, I get really into some of those more fine details. But yeah, I'm just on the Discord.
Well, that's why we're here, to analyze the minutia of this game series. So we appreciate you. Superfly, what are your final thoughts for the year, and how can people get a hold of you?
Yeah, I'm grateful to be here. Grateful to have this show, to listen to it on a weekly basis. Really glad I've been able to go on this nice little run of joining, because I can't always do it due to my job and home life and stuff like that. It just kind of gets in the way of things with kids and all. But I'm glad I've been able to join these last couple times, and it's been I have a great time every time in this, but not to eat up much more. I tend to lurk on Discord under the handle Super5440. So,
all right, and thank you again, because I know now with a kid how hectic schedules can become. So if you got multiple, oh my gosh. So yeah, thank you so much for carving time out of your schedule to be here. And me, I am trying to stream when I can. Streaming Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon. I love that game. Genesis, you just started that game recently. You're enjoying it as well. So yeah, I'm streaming that game. We'll get back to streaming Sharon Shepherd when things, I think, settle down a little bit after the holidays. And you can find me on Twitch at In7Legend. Otherwise, I'll just be doing the show. You can find me on the Discord, any social media I have, going to be at In7Legend. And until next year, Spectres, we should go. Take care.